So we're doing a good amount of traveling, and we hit a brick wall. And we find out that all of the traveling companions are not receiving it as well. So
Yeah.
we realized we knew our daughter had autism all along,
Yeah.
but we realized how that affects how travel happens. How do you handle that as a mom? And I'll tell you how I handle it as
A dad. Well,
As dad.
I'm handling now as a mom, thinking like, we know that we didn't go anywhere for 12 years of our life. We were homebodies, didn't travel anywhere, had no passport stamps or anything. And one thing that we knew we wanted to do in our marriage was to have exposure to different places and spaces and cultures. And we just felt like this was the time to do it. So why not, right? And I kind of handled it not in the most knowledge-based way. I was just like, what? It's like bringing your kids to Disney World and they sad at Disney. You know what I'm saying? You're like, what are you talking about? We've been on cruises. Wait, let me think. Cruises.
different states.
Different countries. Like luxury, great spaces, good food, like had a good time. Like that was the intention, and it was like we were facing so much opposition. I think this last travel was kind of like, okay, what are we doing wrong here?
I think it was more so, now that I think about it, all of the travels were literally just exposure to how somebody with autism handles like changing things like that. But it was also exposure to where our daughter was specifically.
Yeah.
And because there was nowhere to hide. Like when you travel, you usually are
Together.
You're usually together more.
Yeah.
You see patterns more.
I think what I learned, that most importantly, like, it's not that, you think, you're past this or whatever. You get these things in mind, like, especially with the autism spectrum is so vast, and it's like, it's different. Our daughter is 20, so it's like, there's a difference between 10 and 20.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're able to make these moves quick and maneuver. But it's like, no, you find out like she's trying. She's giving her best, but she's really struggling with how quick we might be moving. And I'll give you an example.
I say even how slow we're moving.
Yeah, but even quick we're moving in the airport. Like if we in the airport and we go in a gate, like our daughter, one thing about her, she'll rock with it. She's the greatest employee ever. Because if it's a task, she's going to find out what exactly the task is. She's gonna make sure if it's 1 through 10 steps, she's gonna do 1 through 10 steps. But don't try to add a 11th step. You know what I'm saying?
Don't say do step 4 before you do step 2.
Yeah, and that just like, she doesn't like that. She struggles with that. And we at the gates, and like, especially when you travel international, like you're going through a lot of different steps, you know what I mean? And there's changes that happen sometimes, and like gates and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, she loves to, inquire, like, what gate we going to? And I'm like, all right, gate G8. And then all of a sudden, we get to gate G8, and there's a sign there that says there's been a gate change, right? And she's like, wait, why are we going to another gate? And it's like, okay, we don't have a lot of time to talk about this right now.
Yeah.
We got to get moving. And I think that's where I actually could still grow, because I'm like, listen, let's chop this up once we get to the gate. But she's struggling the whole way getting to the gate. You know what I mean? She's not melting down in the sense of like where she can't function, but she's definitely talking to me the whole time. And I tend to not talk under pressure. Have you noticed that about me, right, hon?
No, I didn't know that.
Yo, I do not want to talk under pressure. Like, I want to quickly, like,
Get the result.
It's like, all right, we got to go to G8. We got 12 minutes before they start boarding. Let's move to G8.
You know what I've learned, and you keep learning that is what is important to someone. It's not what's important in that moment, but it's like you almost have to honor both of them. Because I'm like, we gonna miss the plane if we don't get to the gate.
Right.
We could talk for the next couple hours on the plane about whatever questions you have or whatever you're feeling. But I've seen with dealing with our daughter with autism is if you don't show that you actually care about what's happening in her world at that moment, you're almost banned for the rest of the day.
Yes, that also makes me think about how long it takes to explain something. It really only takes like 3 minutes. And if I just take the time in that moment and get myself regulated and say, okay, listen, we got to change from gate G3 to G8 because the airline changed it. The airline changed it, but listen, I need us to get there. We only got 10 minutes, and if we don't get to the gate, we're not going to be able to get on board. Are you with me?
Okay,
Let's
so
go.
here's where we saw it at. Here's where we really saw it at.
Yeah.
Going on a cruise.
Yep.
The cruise tells us we have until 4:30 to get to the gate. So we're not cruising, but we're like, we can get there with a half an hour to spare.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you got to get here before 4.
Yeah, and it's like 3:56.
It's like 3:56. It's like 3:57 pulling up to the dock.
Gate, yeah.
And we got to get all the bags out of the Uber.
Yes.
And I'm yelling, hun, you just go. You run because you got the passes in your hand.
Yep.
I'll get the bags out. As long as they see one of us, we're good. And Jamaica's running to there. I'm grabbing the bags. And both her daughters are sitting there like, where do we go? What do we do? I was like, just grab a bag. Just I can calm you down in a minute. We just gonna miss this dock. And she's running back and forth like, do I run into mom? Do I run to him? Like, do I run to Aaliyah? Like, and I'm looking and I'm like, if we're this frantic, I can imagine what it is in her head. And we find out once we get on the cruise, that was a talk for the next 2 days.
Yes, and that's another thing. That's also having the patience. Like, what I'm learning, first of all, shout out to this magazine. I found this magazine in the grocery store on our way, and when I tell you, it literally helped me or is helping me, because you would think like, oh, you got it down pat. It's been 20 years. Like our daughter was diagnosed when she was 3. I was a single mom for 12 years before we got married, right? And so, like, I had to learn a lot of things on the fly, and you would think like, oh, I would have it down pat by now. But no, a 20-year-old with autism is different than a 10-year-old with autism. She's not learning how to, speak and eye contact and all that. Not our daughter. Like, I know it differs for different people, but our daughter, no, she gives great eye contact, has great communication. She just has challenges in other areas. And so it's like, I'm like learning her all over again. And one part of that, I'm learning myself too. It's like, I don't have let's just be clear. Like, I'm approaching perimenopause. I got some stuff going on, you know what I'm saying? And so like, there's some changes that's happened in me biologically, like just with age and just even my personality, And I'm like, I don't want to talk about the same thing that happened yesterday for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And so me just learning like, that's how she's like processing the anxiousness of what happened, or she's trying to get it out of her body, what she stored up in that moment to get to the result of getting there. It's like, dang, I don't want to sit through it for 2 days, but recognizing like that's might be what's needed.
I think honestly it could be almost the opposite.
What?
Like, it kind of feels like, I'm not saying this like I don't say this from a scientific standpoint, but it's almost as if like, remember back in the day, like in Jewish customs, they would let people grieve for a certain amount of days. So that they get it out.
Okay.
This may not be like that, but it may be like, for this next hour, we're going to talk about this, and then after that hour, it's done.
Also recognizing that it needs to be talked about, because I don't need
to be talked
like
about.
when we get to the hotel, like I don't need to talk about what happened at the gate, but I need to recognize like you do. So maybe we do it in that moment, like not wait and think like, oh, she's gonna be okay with it, because she's not. Like the next morning she's like, Ooh, I couldn't sleep.
We learned that, but I was like, we here. Let's just go in the rooms.
She's like, woo, y'all, I couldn't sleep because of what happened yesterday. I'm like, what?
There's other parts that probably that fed into that too, but I think for me, coming in when she was 12, that was a challenge.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know the severity of her having autism, so it was like learning your emotions in your 30s, learning hers and and she's 12, and then learning that hers also comes with a complexity of a diagnosis. So you learn that, but when I realized how it was when we would travel. The airports would be.
Yeah.
It would be a big thing.
As an adult though, because we weren't traveling when she was younger.
Yeah. So I was thinking when we would travel with her being older, it would be like an extra hand you got to help.
Right.
And it was more so like, we just know travel days are travel days.
Yeah.
We did better this time. We was like, on travel days, the next day we don't do nothing.
Yeah, but the beauty of now versus when she was 12 is that, because like she still was developing just like an atypical kid with understanding, things in life and things like that. So she didn't know how to express that she was thinking about something differently than how an atypical person like we were thinking about things. So we would be like clashing all the time because it would be like, well, you said the mop, and it's like, sweep first, then mop. That's 12, right? But but now, like even today, like her and I were talking and we were like butting heads because I was trying to describe a purple wall and she was like, that wall is not purple, that wall is lavender. And I'm like,
lavender is a shade of purple.
Yes, it's a shade of purple, but she's like, but no, why do you keep calling it purple? And I'm just saying that as an example. Like we were literally talking about something almost that simplistic, but she said to me, but Mom, say it a different way, because sometimes I need to like hear it from a way of like the fact of a matter. She was like, don't be like, oh, it's kind of purple. She's like, tell me what purple do you think it is? Like, is it Barney purple or is it? And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm just saying that as an example. I was like, oh yeah, it's like, you're right. I guess it's like a lavender purple. And she's like, why didn't you just say lavender purple from the beginning? I'm like, I didn't know you needed me to say lavender purple in order for you, for us to be talking about the same thing. But her telling me and being able to explain that to me, she was like, Ma, I know, I know I'm autistic. She was like, it's not an impairment for me. She was like, but it does cause me to like think about things a little differently than you think about it. And I can tell, like, cause you're thinking about it totally different. And I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad that you even have that self-awareness to be like, spin it to me another way so that both of us can laugh about this matter.
So then what happens when, that's real life moment, what happens when you don't feel like spinning it another way because you're tired?
That's the problem. Like that's, yo, let's just be clear. Yo, your girl, sometimes I really have to be like, I have to give myself grace and be like, all right, you doing better than you did before. You know what I'm saying? Or you gave it your best shot. Because sometimes I'm not, like I said, I'm going through my own transition as a woman. I'm going through my own transition as a wife and being a mother to a 6-year-old as well, right? So it's like the 6-year-old just had a meltdown because you done took her, I done threw away her little toy that was broken and it's been broke for weeks, right? But she having a meltdown, and then right after I'm dealing with that meltdown, then you want to come and you want to have elaborate conversation about something that I'm like, I don't understand why we're talking about this right now at 11 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? I have learned to even say it to our daughter, say it to her that I don't have it right now. And sometimes I said it last night, hurt her little feelings, because I was like, I don't have it. I mean, not last night, this morning.
This morning, yeah.
I don't have it right now.
I came back to seeing breakfast and I was like, something that happened. I don't know if I'm eating this breakfast.
I've learned to not shut down though and just walk away, because that then I don't know what it does in her thoughts, but it doesn't turn out well. It's
Well,
not.
anyone's thoughts, it makes you feel like I'm not important for you to talk to me right
Yes,
now.
so
Even if
I've
it's not what you're
learned.
saying, it's just
Yes, so I have learned to say literally, I don't have it right now, and I'm about to shut my door so I can lay down, and then I'll come back to you. Even though she didn't like it, she was like, "Why? No, like why? Let's talk about it right now." I'm so sorry. I'm shutting this door in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like I'm at that place.
But something that I've learned too, even with that, is that's a directness that she actually needs, and just every area. Like, don't beat around the bush. Don't give hints. Just say exactly what it is. What I found out is trying to understand, and it helps with it actually helps me with coaching and stuff. Is that everybody doesn't speak the same language, and everyone doesn't see the problem the same way. So it's almost like asking questions like, how do you see this?
Yeah.
And we found out a lot of times, like, you'd be like, wait, like she said something a couple probably last year that it threw us off. She was like, we was like, what happens when you get into new environments or when you go? But she was like, I just have a hard time controlling everyone's emotions and how they act. And we're like,
Yeah.
you can't
control.
you can never do that. That's why. And we're like, poor
That's why
baby,
you feel
that's why you feel like
you feeling defeated every
I was
conversation.
like, you can't control no. We don't know if you don't ask, like, how are you seeing this situation? How are you doing that? What was something that we just really put a rule in place that starts tomorrow is after a certain time in the night, they cannot bother us.
Nope. And I think it's a healthy boundary.
It's healthy.
Like I feel like you know what I mean? Like we have taken on a lot of different parenting skills and models that are contrary to like, when we was growing up, there was no negotiation.
You got whoopings, yeah.
Listen, or there is a penalty. And so we do things a little different. But one thing, sometimes we can go all the way left or all the way right. No, I think we're like swinging it right in the middle for us to be like, our kids do not get full access to us 24/7. Like if I'm in the shower, you are not in the bathroom talking to me about, you know what I'm saying? Like the fruit snacks, like we're not doing that. And before I used to be like, but these are my kids. They need me. No, you are creating. Yes, they need a boundary of when I'm in the shower, it is only for 10 minutes. And I will be back. You know what I'm saying? Or after 8 o'clock, when you made that, like this is what we doing. I'm like, bet. Cause listen, when this door closes, me and my husband need to have some conversation or no conversation. You feel me?
The main thing is too is that they don't realize if we're not healthy, we cannot serve them in a good way. So it's like, this is what we got to do to get healthy, and that will carry on to when they have kids.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's been the hardest pill to swallow with an adult kid with autism?
I'll be honest. One of the hardest things, like I said, I had her as a single mom. Her dad was in her life, but he didn't live in our state. So, like, can you imagine the complexities of, like, trying to co-parent in some sense with a child that's on the spectrum? He had to learn what he needed to learn, how to take care for her. I needed to show him what it's like to care for her from a distance. And now she's 20. She's legally, like, an adult. And you still have to have some type of communication or connection. And co-parenting as an adult don't look like co-parenting. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, I'll just be honest, like a lot of people do not want to deal with when 18 come, they'd be like, good riddance, honestly, because they're not together anymore. So it's like, you could deal with your father on your own terms now. But I beg to differ. When you have a special needs child or unique abilities child, you cannot go by that age marker most of the time that the law says, all right, they're now able to speak for themselves because they're not atypical. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I have faced. I'm like, and I'm sure her father probably could speak to that too. Be like, yo, deuces. And I'm like, we can't deuce. Like, it don't work like that. I think that's probably one of the greatest challenges that I've had.
I think for me,
Ooh, the sun went down.
The sun went down. I think for me, it might be accepting that she might always be in our house. So we moved because of the light. But I think the biggest problem, or the biggest pill to swallow, is she might be with us for the rest of her life. And not to say that's a bad thing, but more so, will she ever get to feel like she has her own? So I mean, we've explored things like, will she have a tiny home or something like that that lives on the property, or something like that? But that's been the biggest pill to swallow. But something that
Why do you think that's a pill to swallow, though? Like, where did that contrast come up?
I think for the little one too. Like I always,
Yeah, but
because I would love to be alone with my wife.
No, but like, I'll tell you where that comes up for me is like, you think of milestones, right? Like you think of like, your friends are like, oh, I'm empty nesters now. It's like, okay.
No, I don't.
Having
I don't
kids,
think of the
raising kids.
I don't think of the milestone. I think of more so. Part of me would think, will she ever get the chance to experience her own freedom, like make her own choices? I go to bed this time. I eat whenever this time. Will she ever get that for herself? And will she feel like she didn't? What part of it is honestly, will she feel like she's a failure if she never reaches that? When she's seen other kids be like, I live by myself now, or stuff like that.
She actually, that's the thing though. Like our daughter, she aspires to do those things. She just has to learn what it takes to do those things.
Which is work.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's possible. Because let me not say I think. I know it's possible. It just doesn't happen in the timeline usually for us.
Well, away.
That it atypically would happen for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like there has to be a difference for us. I've always honestly captured like 3 years of a season of one season. So yeah, you know how they say terrible twos? I will be like terrible 6. That's how our experience happened. And I just got used to kind of like that increment. But yeah, I think that I think letting go of expectations that you create in your mind before you have kids. Like
Jeez.
That's what I would say to like, especially young people that are in their 20s. Like I had it when I was 25, and it's like you have no idea who you're gonna be when you're 30 and when you're 40.
No.
And so you're just making the best guesstimate at that time of your life. Always prepare for if things don't go how you think they're supposed to go, because it's most likely not going to be. That's life, right? How you think it's going to go. And I don't think most people, can I say it like frankly, like they'll get in relationships they're not married. And I'm not saying marriage is like, it's gonna confirm that you're gonna be together forever, but they're just having babies, right? Because they're in these relationships, but don't realize like when we do those things, if it doesn't work out and there are complexities like a child that is disabled, you're now connected to that person on a whole nother level for like potentially the longevity of that child's life. And I don't think a lot of people think about that. I know I wasn't thinking about that.
That's a big one, because raising a child without special needs is complex.
In itself.
That's complicated by itself.
In itself. Y'all don't even know if y'all coming to the birthday party together.
Yeah.
Y'all having 2 separate parties, you know?
So that's always it's complex with, especially with co-parenting. What I can say, what I've learned about co-parenting is it's not what social media makes it to be. It's not what the internet usually makes it to be. It's a grueling task.
Yo, it's not Jada and Will Smith.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, it is at the beginning of their co-parenting. Now they go on trips together. We ain't doing that.
Well, I mean, I just think it takes a lot of cooperation from both parties.
Yeah.
And I think it takes all parties doing a lot of internal work to say, I got to put my pride and my ego aside to do this for the best of their kid,
of the child,
which I don't see most people doing.
Are not. They're filtering. They think they're doing the best interest of the child, but they don't realize they filter it through their own their own stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So I say with the co-parenting and all that stuff, it's hard, but for autism awareness month, or I want to make sure I get that correct.
Autism. It used to be autism awareness. Now it's autism.
Happy autism
No, autism
acceptance
acceptance.
acceptance month. Just realizing most people won't ever understand you as a parent when it comes to raising a special needs child, because they're gonna always see the external thing to fix. And if you know anything about fixing anything, if you just go for the external and it's an internal problem, it's gonna come right back.
Yeah.
It's just like trying to paint your car and the engine's messed up. Like, no matter how good the paint is, the car ain't gonna run the same way it's supposed to run. So I think being a parent, having to sometimes be okay being misunderstood. Because there would be times people would be like, y'all should be doing this, A, B, C, D, E, F. And if y'all was doing this, this will be the result. And they'd be like, you thought you just came up with that idea yourself. Like, we never thought of that. We never sat down and thought of that. But you don't realize a lot of the internal work is long suffering.
Yep.
It's taking a lot of patience, a lot of re-explaining. It's the stuff we've always been like, we said this 6 times, 6 different ways, and it hasn't landed yet.
Yep.
And you have to be okay being misunderstood by other people who have the solution in their head, but it's not a real solution.
Yes, and you also have to not limit yourself. You might not be able to travel the way you wanted to, but you can still travel. You know what I'm saying? Like, make your modifications. Stop limiting yourself.
What's the modification we make when we travel?
Yo,
we learned the hard way.
We get sweets and we pay. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. I'll be like, yo, I will wear thrift store clothing, but we will not stay in the same hotel room. Okay? I don't care. Upgrade to the suite. I'm an upgrade queen. I'll use my points, but I'm an upgrade.
We've learned that the hard way.
Because our daughter, honestly, I think we all kind of need our spaces too. Like Drew needs his time at the gym and his morning time of prayer by himself. Okay, that's one thing I know about Drew. Anaya she has her level where it's like, all right, I've been with y'all for a minute.
For 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Now I've been with y'all for 1 hour. I need the other 23 to myself. Okay.
Like jail.
And
1
then
hour
me,
out and then 23 back in.
you know, Aaliyah, she's the energizer bunny. She gotta have her playtime, gotta have her run time, gotta get that energy out. And then me, myself, I also am a low-key,
You're a night owl.
I'm not a night owl. I actually want to go to sleep, but that's a part of that perimenopause thing too. But anyway.
Well, kudos. First, kudos to us, because we don't ever praise ourselves when it comes to stuff like this. Knowing what we need and saying, hey, let that person get it. Because if we don't give her time, like we say, if Lil Debo don't play, it's going to be bad for all of us.
It's going to be bad for everybody.
Or it's like, I know for me, like, I'll get up way early in the morning to be like, if I don't work out, and if I don't pray by myself, I ain't gonna spaz, but it's just not gonna be good. So you learn that with your family with special needs kids, like, what do we need to support for ourselves? And we are discovering that. Cut off time in the house at night. When we travel, we gotta have a suite. We are not sleeping in the same room. It does not work well. It does not work,
and we do not do it. I would not advise it of anybody.
We did it before. We did it for a week, and it was...
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
That was bad. Jamaica had to take me out to the beach a couple mornings and just talk me back in the game. I was like, they don't know me, son.
Come off the bench. Come off the bench.
I will whoop these. They don't know me, son.
Yeah. And also being good to yourself, moms. It's about to be Mother's Day and coming up next month. Be good to yourself. You're going to know everything about your family. That's just what you do as a mom. But don't forget to know about what things you need to. So I'm relearning that for myself as well.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace out.